Hi, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your True Shelf. Today I am quite belated in making videos about two themed reading readathons that are going on during the month of June. I have had a bit of a slow start to June with the amount of books that I've read, and I want to focus with the second half of the month on the two topics that this video is about. So one is books for Pride, so LGBTQIA plus books, and the other is books set in the Caribbean. So what I've done is I've got the books off my shelf, the vast majority of which I haven't read. However, I've seen some brilliant recommendations from booktubers over the last sort of couple of weeks of watching videos, and especially sort of intersectional books, and I've put all of these on my wish list, and I've just got a Kindle, and so I'm going to download and read some of those books as well, but because I haven't chosen them yet, I'm not going to include them in this video. They'll just be in my wrap up. So, long introduction over. Sadly, I have only got 3 Caribbean books on my TBR. And so I'm going to just talk about those, but it made me realise that I haven't got much from Caribbean authors. So the first one is one that I only recently heard about on BookTube. I saw this on Giselle Mills' channel, who I will link below. And this is set in Trinidad. And this is called The Wine of Astonishment by Earl Lovelace. This was written in 1982. This is about a man called Bayoh, who is a champion fighter, and he's quite sort of strong physically, and he's sort of sick of seeing what's happening to Trinidad by the US and what's happening to his people, and so he decides to step up and try and become a leader. And it says that he takes on a bizarre stand with tragic consequences. So after I heard Giselle talk about this, I really wanted to read it, and I managed to find a copy on eBay. It was quite hard to find because I don't think it's in print in the UK anymore, but I managed to get one, and so I have that. The second one that I have got is one by Andrea Levy, who is a British author, and her books often feature the Caribbean as well. If not always, actually. I think every book of hers I've read so far has had the Caribbean in. So this one is called Never Far From Nowhere, and it was winner of the Whitbread Prize, Whitbread Book of the Year, and the Orange Prize for Fiction. And so that's obviously now the Women's Prize. It's an ex-library book, so it's quite shiny. So this is about sisters who were born to Jamaican parents, and they've moved to London, and they go to the same school, but there is colorism present in this book. So one of the sisters is much darker skinned than the other sister, and the sister with the paler complexion is living kind of a life of friendships, youth clubs, college, A-levels, and it says that her older sister, whose skin is darker, has a very different tale to tell. So I think that would be a really interesting read, and I've always enjoyed Andrea Levy's books. And then the last one is one that's been all over BookTube before, but I still haven't read it, and I have no idea why. I was so excited about it, I bought it in hardback, and I still haven't read it, but it's on my list for one of the squares for the Women's Reading Challenge for this year. And that is Washington Black by Edugyan. So I read the first book by Edugyan, which was Half-Blood Blues, about probably 6 years ago, and I really enjoyed that. And so now I have this one. So Washington Black is a slave on a sugar plantation in Barbados, and one of the plantation owners wants him to help him build an aeroplane, or a flying, because it wasn't obviously an aeroplane, a flying machine. And then they go on this journey together, which takes them, I think through lots of countries, as well as different circumstances and hardships and things. So I know this got a lot of positive press at the time, and so I'm looking forward to that one. So that's the 3 Caribbean themed books that I have. The rest are all queer books. So the first one that I have is a novella that I bought last year and haven't read yet. This is Lie With Me by Philippe Besson. This is translated from French by the actress Molly Ringwald. This is about a guy who sees another man who strongly resembles his first love when he was a teenager, and then it goes back to France in the 1980s and looks at their relationship and the summer that the romance happened. And I've heard really good things. I think it's supposed to be really beautiful, and looking forward to it a lot. Then I have one that was really kindly gifted to me by Charlie Brick, who has her own YouTube channel, which I will link. This is one that she read and thought I would like, and so she really kindly passed it on to me. And this is Read at the Bone by Jacqueline Woods. So again, quite a popular book on BookTube. From what I understand about this one, there's not that much information on the dust jacket. It's about a young girl who is about 16, and Melody, 16. And it's about her coming of age party, and then it goes back in time to when her mum was supposed to wear the dress that she's going to wear, but she doesn't. And I think her mum had a teenage pregnancy which resulted in Melody. And so yeah, I'm not sure too much more about that, but it does say in the dust jacket somewhere, it does say on the blurb on the back, vital insights into questions of class, gender, race, history, queerness and sex in America. So and that's quite a small book as well, so another one to look forward to. Next I have a book which was Costa Book of the Year in 2016. I was really excited about it and I bought it and I still haven't read it. So that is this one, which is Days Without End by Sebastian Barry. This is set in the 1850s. It's set in America. Two 17-year-olds who are fighting in the Indian Wars and the Civil War. I find I hate what happens to Indigenous people, and the fact that I then know this book's going to cause like a lot of upset for me to read what happened, but obviously it did happen. Very shamefully, and so they are fighting in this despicable war, and a young Indian girl crosses their path. But it says that, I know this is a queer love story between the two men, and I'm pretty sure that Sebastian Barry wrote this because his son is gay and he wanted to write a love story dedicated to his son, something along those lines. So that's that one. The next one is one that I've seen the film of and I absolutely adored the film. I really need to watch it again because I still think about the film. I loved it so much. This is the movie tie-in cover, and it's Call Me By Your Name by André Aciman. So this is about Elio, who is 17, and his father is a teacher or a university professor, and a student comes for a placement over the summer from America. This is set in France, and the student is a bit older and Elio just falls for him, and they have a romance through the summer, and then it's about what happens when the summer finishes as well. And the film, honestly, if you haven't seen the film, like, it's amazing. I definitely recommend it. I loved it so much. And I don't know how the book's going to compare. Books are normally better than films, so if that's the case, I've got a real treat in store. The next one is one that I've read, but I had to bring it up because it's such a good book. I absolutely loved it. And that is Tinman by Sarah Winman. So if you haven't read it, please read it because it's so beautiful. It's about three people. So there's a woman called Annie. There is a man called Michael and a man called Ellis. And it's about the relationships between the three of them. And can't say too much because I will spoil the plot, but it's not a big book, but it's one of those books where like everything the author puts is so beautiful that they don't need to say it in a longer way. I really loved it so much, and I'll definitely reread it. Very moving, just really awesome story. So highly recommend that one. The next book, I've heard lots of good things on BookTube. Again, another sort of favourite. I'm not entirely sure of the plot, and it's quite difficult because there's not much at all on the back which tells you about it. But this is an author who I read for the first time last year and loved their book. It was one of my books of the year, I think. And this is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. So I know that this is a queer love story, and I'm not sure. So I'll tell you what it says on the back. So, a saucy, sensuous, multi-layered historical romance, Tipping the Velvet follows the glittering career of Nan King, oyster girl turned music hall star turned rent boy turned East End Tom. So I think it's about a transition and a relationship at the same time. I don't really know any more than that, but I know that I really enjoyed the Sarah Waters that I read last year, and I looking forward to reading this one when I get to it. And like I said, I've only had good things on BookTube. The next one is one that I had no idea that it was a queer book, but I saw Jean talk about it, and in her LGBTQIA recommendations video. So this is an author that I haven't tried before, but I wanted to try because I've heard especially Jean talk about her and recommend her. And this is What is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. So if I just say what it says inside, because I don't think I'm going to do a good job describing it otherwise. So in a vast mysterious house on the cliffs near Dover, the Silver family is reeling from the hole punched into its heart. Lily is gone, and her twins, Miranda and Elliot, and her husband Luke mourn her absence with unspoken intensity. All is not well with the house either, which creaks and grumbles and malignly confuses visitors in its mazy rooms, forcing winter apples in the garden when the branches should be bare. Generations of women inhabit its walls, and Miranda, with her new appetite for chalk and her keen sense for spirits, is more attuned to them than she is to her brother and father. She is leaving them slowly, slipping away from them, and when one dark night she vanishes entirely, the survivors are left to tell her story. So yeah, no suggestions on what the queer angle is on this book, but I know there is one because Jean told me. The next book is a YA book, and that is The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. So this is about a boy called David, who is, I think he is in secondary school, but I'm not sure how far through secondary school, so he's somewhere in his teens, and excuse me, his parents think he's gay, but he's actually a trans female, and he hasn't come out as that yet. And there's another boy in there called Leo who wants to disappear and be invisible, and somebody is picking on David, and Leo stands up for him in a fight, and then they form a friendship, and I'm not sure what happens from there. So that is all I know, but another one that sounds really interesting and really looking forward to getting to. There's two left on my list. One is another one which I've seen a film for and loved the film, and so oh my god, I've had this for 7 years because I've got it signed inside by the author, and I can't believe I've had it for 7 years. And this is Disobedience by Naomi Alderman. So this is set in a Jewish community, and it's about a woman, I can't remember the names, Ronit. So Ronit has left the Jewish community in London, and she's gone to work in the States, and then she has to come back because there's a family funeral. Her father dies, and her father, from what I remember from the film, is is a leader and a rabbi in the Jewish community, and so it's a big loss to the community when he dies. And we find out that she's sort of been estranged from the family, and it turns out that she is in love with her male cousin's wife, and there's this reconnection between the two women, which is forbidden, obviously, and beautiful. And the film, oh my gosh, the film has Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdam, and I love those two actresses, and it's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to the book and seeing if, you know, how the two compare. But yeah, I've got 3 Naomi Alderman books and I've read none of them. It's really stupid. So yeah, I need to make a start. And then the final one is a non-fiction book, which is a memoir. And that is our national treasure, Sue Perkins, a memoir called Spectacles. So Sue Perkins, if you're not in the UK, is the co-host of the Great British Bake Off, or she was, she's not anymore. She is part of a comedy double act called Mel and Sue. And she just does a lot of presenting and comedy and stuff in the UK. She's been on screens for, since I was a teenager probably. It's only about 3 years. Yeah, so this is her memoir. She is, I don't know if she's married to a woman or if she's in a relationship, but she's a lesbian anyway. And yeah, so this is her story, and I really like Sue. I think she's awesome. So that is my non-fiction book on the pile. So that is my list of recommendations. Well, that's my list of books I need to get to. I'm not going to read all of those books in the second half of June, but I'm looking forward to those ones a lot, and I'm really looking forward to going through my wish list on Kindle and picking some of the ones that I've had other booktubers recommend over the last couple of weeks. So let me know if you're reading any queer or Caribbean fiction in the month of June, or if you've got any recommendations. If you've read any of those books, let me know what you thought, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.